Thank you. But frequently there are situations where one person should be totally in control of the partnership, and the other person should just be answering questions. One person is the captain, the other one is the response, the not the captain. Usually those happen if you've opened a preemptive bid. That's a sign that you've said your piece and your partner's in charge of everything. There are very few cases where you want to preempt and have to bid again or use your judgment again. The other one that gives up captaincy is if you make a very limited bid with point count and distribution, then your partner, because they know your hand, should be the one asking questions, being captain. So those are the two main ones. Lots of hands are still dialogue where it's sort of, I don't, wishy-washy is derogatory, but it's accurate that each of you are telling each other something, and eventually somebody decides to place the contract. As opposed to hands where, say, you've opened a no trump. If you've opened a no trump, partner will say they have five hearts, or they'll ask you if you have a four card major, or they'll place the contract. You might have to answer one question, but your partner is the one who's going to decide what question to ask. That's what captaincy sort of is. So we're going to give some examples here where somebody in particular is captain, and hopefully it'll give you some idea. The first lesson hand was board number 3. I am going to do the actually, I'll put that into chat right now. I'll do this again at the end of the lecture. But these are the lesson hands that we prepared. The first one was board number 3. South South starts the bidding. They have 19 points. It's a good 19, but let's not stretch to open 2-0. We're gonna have an easy rebid. If partner bids hearts, we can bid spades. So let's start with a diamond. Pass. North responds a spade. Pass. Now South has still the 19 high card. They can add points. I'd add points for the Doubleton heart, but not the Doubleton club because you're king queen as well. You can't count 5 full points plus the Doubleton. So I think it evaluates to about 20 points, maybe one more for the fifth diamond. Certainly enough to get to game. So you bid 4 spades here. This is not a weak bid. This shows about 20 or 21 high card in support of the 1 spade bid. It's a strong showing bid. And the advantage of this, when you show a fairly narrow range with a particular length in partner suit, now your partner's in charge. The partner might ask some questions, but you hope that your partner knows what to do over 4 spades. Most of the time, they're going to be passing that. But on this hand, North has a full 14 high card. They have a fifth spade. That's usually worth a point or two. And a Doubleton diamond is questionable because that's partner's bid suit. It might be useful, but probably not. I think it evaluates to about 15 or 16 points. And opposite partners 18 or partners 20 to 21 in support. That's enough to get to slam. There are a few ways that I would suggest getting there. You could just say, well, partner has so many high card that they must have the ace or king of hearts. Let's just Blackwood to check on aces. And we're missing none, but we probably don't have a grand slam there, so we'll just sign off in 6 spades. That was the one option for the auction. Another one, you can say, well, I can't Blackwood because I have 2 losers in a side suit. That's a good reason not to Blackwood. So then you Q-bid 5 clubs. That says I have the ace of clubs. I'm very interested in slam. Can you help me out? Now the South hand, who is the non-captain, is going to be answering questions. Well, they can bid 5 hearts here to say they have the ace of hearts. Now North should be comfortable bidding 6 spades. You won't be off 2 aces. You don't have the power. One of the things that comes up on both of those auctions, West has a chance to double 5 hearts. This is probably a good idea. If partner was looking at a blind choice between hearts and clubs, you'd like them to lead a heart. So I think it gives the opponents a little bit of information, but it's going to help partner out on opening lead. So on this auction or the Blackwood auction, I would suggest doubling five hearts. That's just an aside. Either way, I think North has enough information to ask a question and get to six spades, either through Blackwood or through Q bidding, or they can just blast six spades. There's got to be enough high card points to be there. Either way, I think North South should end up in six spades, and it should be played by North most of the time. So assuming that it's played by North, what do we lead from East? Well, especially if partners double five hearts, we're going to lead a heart. If partner didn't double five hearts, we still have a sequence in hearts and we don't have one in clubs. You definitely don't want to lead a trump. It's very, very seldom right to lead a trump against a small slam. You want to try and set up your trick or tricks on defense. So lead aggressive against a small slam. So we're going to lead an unbid suit. We've got a sequence in hearts, 10 of hearts. Okay, so now we go on to the play. We look at the losers. We not sure. Hopefully we can spades are 2-2 or there's a singleton queen, but maybe one spade loser, we don't know yet. Maybe one heart loser, no clubs losers, no diamond losers. So first question is, what do we do on the 10 of hearts? If West didn't double five hearts, we don't know who has the king of hearts. So it might be right to play a low heart and hopefully win the queen. Um, but you don't need to do that. If you look around to see where else this heart can go, hopefully you can see you've got the king, queen of clubs, but you've got ace third. And South, the dummy, only has two hearts. So they can pitch that heart on the ace of clubs. So there's no need to risk playing the heart finesse, taking the heart finesse. Let's win the ace of hearts. Actually, sorry, let's be a good West and encourage. And we've still got the ace of diamonds as an entry, so there's no rush to unblock the clubs. Let's play a spades first. Those might split. Oh no, they don't. Oh well. So we know we've got a spade loser, but we're in good shape here. King of clubs, queen of clubs. Now we can cross to our diamond ace, play the ace, play the ace of clubs, pitching our heart loser. And now I think you can sort of see we play the king, queen of diamonds, we rough hearts and rough diamonds. West gets their queen of spades whenever they like. That's how you would make six spades, even with the trumps not splitting and the heart finesse. The heart finesse was off, but you didn't want to take it anyway. Um, if so, you might be asking, well, the other way we could pitch is let's get back to we've won the ace of hearts, we've played the king of spades, and we've played another spade. Another choice is let's try and get rid of the queen jack of hearts on these diamonds. The problem with that is they might if they rough the third round of diamonds, it would work if diamonds were 3-3. But if they weren't 3-3, West would be able to rough in and cash a heart before we got our pitches. Because you have so many more diamonds than clubs, clubs are a safer suit to attack and get your pitch on. That you would only go down if they managed to rough the second round of clubs. It would be okay if they rough the third, but that's why you want to play clubs instead of diamonds. I hope you got to six spades. The important things are to recognize that South um, is showing a very, very strong, powerful hand when they bid four spades in response to partners one of a major. That's a strength showing bid, not a distributional weak kind of bid. And then once they've described their hand with the raise, your partner is the captain. Your partner will be deciding how high to go and what methods to investigate how high to go. But your partner's in charge once you've made a raise. All right. Let's go on to the next one. Next one is number 7. Okay, this was a tricky one. Um, okay, so again, South will start with a pass. Um, a question that comes up, what do you do when you have a 5-card major and a longer minor? Um, it's a very good idea to be able to try and get that off that shape. Tell your partner what your shape is. If you can do that at a low enough level, it's a good idea. So on this hand, especially because all my high cards are in spades and diamonds, I've got a really good opener. I'm going to bid a diamond. I'm going to open one diamond, and then my plan is I'm going to bid spades twice. Partner will think I have 4 the first time I bid spades, but the second time I bid spades, they'll know I have 5. And if I have 5 spades, but I opened a diamond, I have to have longer diamonds. That's very effective in describing your hand to your partner. The problem with opening one diamond is if they jam you really high, really quickly, you might not have room to bid spades twice. And then it gets a little tricky. But on this hand, I think it's good enough. I'm just going to risk bidding spades at whatever level I can the next time. Fortunately, on this hand, it's an unopposed auction. So a diamond, pass. East can respond to heart. I think South should just pass here. There's hands I'd like to pipe in with 3 clubs, especially because I'm a passed hand. But excuse me, the club suit is horrible. And so I think pass is pretty normal. Uh, Starting our plan, we just bid 1 spade. We don't have to jump. Partner will very, very seldom pass 1 spade. On this hand, East doesn't fit either suit, but they do have 11 high card points, and they've got all these 10s and 9s. That's a great thing. So I think 2 no trump is enough. Pass. Now we complete our picture by saying 3 spades. Now you've told your partner what you have with respect to diamonds and spades. Once you've described your distribution pretty well, partner becomes the captain. So if East was sitting with a hand where they only had 2 spades, and say they had 5 clubs as well, if they bid 3 no trump over 3 spades, West should respect the fact that I've said what I have, my partner's the captain. If 3 no is wrong, it's not on me. I've said I have surrendered captaincy and I should do what my partner says. On this actual hand, East should recognize that West has shown 5 spades and 6 diamonds. First auction I'll suggest is bidding 4 spades. Pass. Pass, pass. Actually, on this hand, I know we did hand evaluation on Tuesday. If you look at how big this East hand has got after East has described a hand with 6 diamonds and 5 spades, we've got the Queen of Diamonds is going to be a really big card. That's going to fill out partner's 6-card suit. And the King of Spades is also a really big card. What if you wanted to get to a tricky way? The way to get to 6 spades is this: is East has to bid 4 hearts over 3 spades. That can't be natural because we would have bid some number of hearts on the second round, not 2 no trump. Can't be an attempt to play 4 hearts. So it's got to be saying, look, I'm bidding 4 spades, but on the way I've got this ace of hearts. If that's a good enough hand for you, we can consider slam here. So now the West hand, partner has now asked a question: how good do you think this is? Given that I have the ace of hearts and I like the spades, how do you feel about slam? Well, we've got a void in clubs, and partner didn't Q bid four clubs, so that's good. The spades are good. I think they can bid six spades over that. It's a tricky auction, but that's how you would get to six spades. I know we always like to get to the making spots. All right. In four spades or six spades, let's consider the play. Let's do it in six spades, just for argument's sake. Uh, Opening lead, it's their suit, but let's lead the king of hearts. It's gonna set up a heart trick. Declare has shown six diamonds and five spades, so we want to just cash our tricks and hearts and clubs as quick as we can. Uh, King of hearts to the ace. All right, so losers. We have one heart loser. We can't get rid of that. No club losers, no spade losers. We need to worry about diamonds a little bit. If diamonds are 3-2, we can just pretty much do anything. But it's a good general rule of thumb for declarer to hope for the best but plan for the worst. So if diamonds are 4-1, what can we do? Well, we have to sort of get a little lucky. We have to hope that the person that's got the singleton diamond can't ruff. But we still want to be able to ruff a diamond and dummy. So we have to draw 2 rounds of trumps. So we've won the ace of hearts. Let's draw 2 rounds of trumps. Okay. So there's still one trump outstanding. We could just draw trumps and hope that diamonds split. But if diamonds are 4, if like it is on this hand, if diamonds are 4-1 and the person who's short in diamonds doesn't have the last trump, then we can rough it now. Oh, great, we got lucky. This is a little against the odds, but it costs nothing. I'll go back to that in a sec. But now we can still draw trump. We can rough the diamond, sorry. Play a club. Don't forget to draw the trump. And now you can sort of see the west hand is good, except for the 7 of hearts. So you're going to just give up the heart and you're going to take the rest. So does this risk anything? Well, sorry, let's just go back to where we were after we'd drawn. It didn't really risk anything. If after you played the queen of diamonds, you played another diamond, if it turns out that diamonds were originally 3-2, which is most likely, that's going to happen about 2/3 of the time. Then now we're pretending the opponents only have one diamond left. We can just switch back. We can draw the trump and just run the diamonds. So you're just protecting against a 4-1 break. This is a declare a play technique that comes up quite a lot. If you were going to draw all the trumps, you couldn't rough something that you want to rough in dummy. So you sort of draw enough rounds of trumps, leaving enough in dummy to rough whatever you need to rough, and then test the side suit. And hopefully, a lot of times, the hands with the last trump won't be able to stop you roughing the other hand, roughing your loser in the side suit. So if I would be very surprised if anybody bid and made six spades here. But you should get to spades. You should stay out of no trump. No trump plays. You'll make 3 no trump. You have 5. Hang on, I'll just show the whole hand. You're going to take at least 5 spades, the ace, king, queen of diamonds, and the ace of hearts. So 3 no trump will make. That's the good. But spades is going to make. It should easily make 5. And if you used very good technique, you should make 6 spades. It's only biddable by doing that Q bid thing, which is an advanced topic. Q bidding is very tricky. That's how you would get to 6 spades. East would have to express, I'm raising to 4 spades, but I've got a really good raise to 4 spades. And I've got the ace of hearts. And then West can drive to slam. That's tricky. But the captaincy thing is here West described their hand, described their distribution, and they left it up to East to decide what the contract should be. And they should respect the choice after that. If they chose three no trump, even though West has a very distributional hand, they should respect that and pass three no trump. But what they've shown 5-6, and East can East should be raising spades. Okay, that was that one. It was a tricky one. Kathy? Can you see? Did anybody get to six spades on this board?
I cannot see.
Okay, no worries. Just curious more than anything else.
You can ask them.
Uh, yeah. I was just if somebody wants to say, or if anybody got to six spades, hold on. All right, I'll go through the last two. Okay, the last two lesson hands were the last two hands, so I hope it wasn't too exhausting for you. All right, so when you're considering captaincy, one of the things that you would think is that the person with the more points should be the captain because they know more because they have more points. That's not always the case. If you have a strong, balanced hand, you're going to become the non-captain. It's the same as if you'd opened a one no trump. It just happens that you're going to be showing way more points, but you're still letting your partner be in control. So on this hand, we start with a couple of passes. North has 12 or 12 plus 12 plus 13, 25 high card points. That should be enough to get the game. Two clubs. I like competing over two club bids. I think because the opponents need room to try and find a fit. I like to be aggressive over calling two clubs, but the suit is really bad here. I don't think I would. Um, if East did overcall two spades, the auction's going to go roughly the same. Pass. I'm assuming that if you play some kind of immediate double negative, that's fine, but let's start with two diamonds as just sort of a waiting bid. Pass. North completes their description with three no trump. This says I have 25 to 27 balanced. It's not a shutout bid. You can't do this with seven solid in a minor and an ace and a king. That's not what three no trump is. Partner's still entitled to look for major suit fits. So ostensibly you'll have at least two cards in each of the suits. Pass. And South, you can still play transfers on here. You can still play Stamen here. You can't play Gerber and Stamen, and Stamen's more useful. So if four clubs here should be a Stamen kind of bid. But on this hand, South has six hearts and their partner's shown at least two. So they want to play four hearts, but we still play transfers. So four diamonds is a transfer to hearts. Now, North is going to be very tempted to, hey, my partner has six hearts. I really have a good hand. But the thing is, you've surrendered your captaincy. You've already said, I have a really, really big hand. Partner knows that. So despite the fact that you've got 25 high card points and you've even got a nice fit for hearts, can't bid more than four hearts. Partner is the captain. Partner's in control. Partner can if four hearts isn't going to end the auction all the time. Partner's still got room to make slam tries. But your responsibility is just to accept the transfer, even though it's this strong a hand. So four hearts, and on this hand, South is quite happy to just get the heck out. So this is the auction we'd recommend. If East overcalled two spades, I think it'll go. Sorry, I'll just back it up a bit. Pass three no trump on the same auction. Aside from that. So if North was disciplined to say I have this many points and then leave it with their partner, they should end up in four hearts. If North got overly enamored with their 25 high card points, then they might have got too high. But let's play it in four hearts and see how we can do here. Oh, I should have done the other way. Okay, opening lead. You're gonna lead one of the unbid suits. A spade or a diamond is both okay. The diamonds are a little bit stronger than spades. So even though spades are longer, against suit contracts, we want to try and lead from our strongest suit if we can, but we don't lead or underlead aces. So here, because diamonds are stronger than spades, I suggested leading the queen of diamonds. Jack of spades would be a very close second choice. Um, they're both describing your honors in the suit you're leading to your partner. That's useful. Um, but because diamonds are stronger, we're more likely to set up tricks there. So Queen of Diamonds is led. And I know we have the concept of the master hand when we're in trump contracts. The master hand is the one with the long trumps. It's not necessarily the one with all the points. On this hand, because South is the one with six hearts, and North only has three, South is the master hand, even though they only have 1 point. So when North is considering losers, they have to look at the losers in the South hand. So the losers are we've got one spade, we've got one diamond, we do have the ace king. We could have we to start off with, we have two club losers. The club finesse might be on. That'll get rid of one. And we can hopefully rough the third club with the eight of hearts at some point. Um, that might be getting rid of it. So we have four heart, a spade, a diamond, and one or two clubs. So four, maybe five losers to begin with. But the good news is we've got a lot of potentials to get rid of these losers. First thing we have to get rid of is we want to get rid of that diamond loser. Um, and we don't want to go after trumps right away because we want to wait until we've set up any potential club rough. So the way I'd suggest playing it, we can win the ace of diamonds. We can afford one round of trumps, but we don't want to give them the ability to draw a third round of trumps. So we can't draw a second. One round of trumps is okay, but now let's shift to the king of spades. We'd like to lead towards that, but we don't have any dummy entries. So West will win the ace, and they'll probably come back the 10 of diamonds. That sets up their diamond trick, but we're one step ahead in the race. So we can pitch our diamond on the queen of spades. Um, Now the line I'd suggest is king of hearts, see if they're 2-2. They're not, but we can rough a spade. We can finesse a club. If it won, we can play the ace of clubs, rough something to the south hand, and rough the third club. Um, when it loses, because East doesn't have the master trump, West does. Um, they can return something, but we're going to rough our third round of clubs in dummy, or sorry, in the north hand. Um, Eventually you'll lose the ace of spades, you'll lose a heart, and you'll lose the king of clubs. This was a little bit dangerous. If East had the king of clubs and three hearts, you had maybe gone down. But I think this is the right line. It preserve the chances of an over trick are too high. So this is the line that I suggested in the write up. But the captaincy one, and this is one that, especially when you're learning, you get enamored with really, really big balanced hands. But your job is to say how many that I have a balanced hand between X and Y for a point range. And assuming that's fairly narrow, 2 or 3 points, then it's up to your partner. Your partner might ask you some questions, but they're the captain. Your job is to respect their decision, answer any questions they have, and otherwise don't say the same thing twice. I've seen a lot of players, oh, I have 25 points and my partner has six hearts, let's bid six hearts. Well, partner already knew you had 25 points, so you don't have to say your same story twice. That's the principle of captaincy. If you make a limited bid, your partner is captain. All right. Last one. Okay, we finally let East West in on this one. Okay. So West is the opening bidder. They're 4-4 in the majors. The standard American opening with this shape is a diamond. A lot of people play what's called a short club. They open one club with this shape, and if they do that, then their one diamond opening guarantees four. It's a minority position, but it's a significant minority position. If you do that, you have to alert a club and say could be as short as two. Um, but the standard opening bid is a diamond. Partner will assume you have four most of the time, but all right. Either way, East responds one spade. There's no reason to jump yet, and they want to find out about the 4-4 major suit fit. South doesn't quite have enough to overcall. West has a nice raise. So they've said they now have like 12 to 14 high card. Maybe a little bit better but it's not quite enough. This evaluates to about 15. It's 14 and maybe one more for the club, Doubleton. But you need a little more than that to jump to three spades. It's three spades. No, sorry. It's still only 14 high card point. Most of the time, if you have a balanced hand that is weaker than a one no trump opener, you're going to raise one spade to two. Don't try and evaluate that to three. That's a bigger hand. So two spades here. That might be on three. There are some hands that you have to bid two spades with only like honor third of spades and a singleton heart because the alternatives are so much worse. But partner will expect you to have four spades. East Hand has 11 points. They also have a Doubleton club. They are entitled to think that's working. This is pretty close to me. For me, this is pretty close between passing two spades and making an invitational bid. Um, but let's make our invitational bid. If you're going to invite, you might as well bid two no trump. That helps partner evaluate. You're now saying you have 11 or 12 points. You only have four spades. If you had five, you'd insist on playing spades. It's not a forcing bid. Um, so given that information, now East has the two spade bid made East captain. The two no trump bid said because it's a limited bid and it describes the distribution so narrowly, that transfers the captaincy back to West. West is going to probably make the final decision over two no trump, depending on whether they're maximum or minimum, and depending on whether they have four spades or three. This hand they have a maximum for their two spade bid, so they should be getting the game, and they have four spades, so they should try to get to four spades. So that's the auction that we suggest to get to game. Little bit aggressive by East, but that's okay. Um, if you just pass two spades, I'm okay with that. Opening lead, they've opened a diamond, so diamond lead is probably not right. Uh, it's 10 of hearts isn't the world's worst lead here, but we don't want a ruff. Probably the king of spades is going to take a trick by itself. We might be ruffing with a trump trick that we're going to take anyway. So because the clubs are stronger and we don't really want a heart ruff, I suggest leading a club, and you want to lead from your interior sequence here. Queen 10-9, we lead the 10. You definitely won't have the jack. You might have the queen or king, and you definitely won't have the ace. This is against a suit contract. Against a no trump contract, you might have led the 10 of clubs from ace 10-9. But that doesn't apply against suit contracts because we do not underlead aces against suits. We don't lead unsupported aces unless our partners bid the suit or unless the auction screams it. Okay, now we're in four spades. What do we get? What are our losers? Either both of the hands are master hands on this one. The trumps are equal in both hands. So we can look at the losers from either hand. They're going to be the same. We've got the ace, king, queen of spades to lose. We have nothing in hearts to lose. We have nothing in clubs to lose. We have so we can't afford to lose a diamond. We just have to make sure that we just have to hope the king of diamonds is on side. Given all of that, how should we play it? Well, we want to make sure that we don't lose anything outside of the three trumps and maybe the diamond if it's offside, but we don't want them to be able to ruff one of our winners with a low card that's not going to win a trick otherwise. So, for example, if we win the ace of clubs and we decided for whatever reason to play the ace, king, and another heart, now South can ruff that, and they still, unless they crash their honors, are going to take the ace, king, queen of spades. They'll get a trick they're not entitled to. So as soon as they win the ace, as soon as you get the opening lead, you should be thinking, okay, I've got to take the diamond finesse at some point, but let's make sure we draw trumps first. Let's go after trumps, even though they're really weak in both hands. Well, not really weak. Even though they're like Jack, they have the ace, the king, and the queen. We want to attack trumps as quickly as possible. So we lead a spade. North should play low here. There's no real reason to rise. Sorry. And South wins the king. Nothing really matters here. Let's come back another club. And with a tight cut, if trumps were 4-1, you were going to be in a lot of trouble. You might have been okay, but they're not. Fortunately, they're 3-2. So they've taken their two spade tricks. They can cash another spade. It doesn't matter if that spade's outstanding or not. And now they don't want to lead a club because that's going to give a rough slough. It doesn't cost on this hand, but it's generally a good idea not to give a rough slough. So I think North should play a hard at this point. Now we've still got enough entries to our hand to take the diamond finesse a couple of times. We win the ace of hearts. We play a diamond. Cross our fingers that this wins. Yay, it won. Cross back to the heart again and take another diamond finesse. And a little lucky, it definitely needed the king of diamonds on side and probably needed trumps 3-2. It gets trickier if trumps were 4-1. But the point with captaincy is, again, it can bounce back and forth. This was one where one diamond was neutral with respect to who's the boss. So same with one spade. Two spades said, okay, I'm describing my hand. You're the captain east. Oh, sorry. I'll get back to where the auction is so you could follow it a little closer. Okay. Okay. So two spades made east the captain. But East made a 2-no trump bid that was very descriptive with respect to the spade fit and the number of points that they had. So that transferred the captaincy back to West. That can happen a fair amount. The captaincy bounces back and forth. Limited bids, and especially raises, tend to very, very narrowly define the hand. So usually raises surrender the captaincy, but sometimes you surrender it and then it's thrust back upon you. So I the play lesson on this one was you had to make sure the old expression was get the kiddies off the street. You wanted to lead trumps here, even though they were weak ones. You still wanted to make sure they didn't rough something with a small trump when you could avoid it by playing trumps. You have to make sure you have control of the hand like you do here, But given that even with weak trumps opposite weak trumps, you still have to knock out their high ones sometimes, if just so they don't take tricks with their low ones. All right. I think that was it for my main lecture and my points. I'm going to repost the lesson hand write up. And if anybody had any other hands that they would like to discuss the bidding on, I hadn't seen any of the other hands aside from the lesson hands. But you can tell me or you can write it in the chat and I'm happy to go over them. I guess that's it then. All right, folks, thank you very much. I hope you have a good weekend. And I hope I see you on Tuesday. Take care.